Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This is my top 10 stocks as we head into Monday, April 22nd. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. And also for you Bitcoin traders, I will do a bonus Bitcoin analysis at the end. First off, a couple clarification points. Number one, that candle right there will be moving around. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. Second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. Ticker symbol number one, SQQQ, and been tracking this one all week long and will continue to do so as higher highs and higher lows. And today's higher high, big old breakout. Been tracking that little movement right there of the resistance, and you can see right there, got the breakout. And yeah, a couple pullbacks, but overall, just absolute beast mode today. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these lines here as they've all served their purpose down there, and we'll just kind of start afresh. So moving forward, the ideal level of support, when you say, hey, Clay, what would make this chart look the absolute strongest going forward? Let me change that to green for support. And that would be if the price can stay up here above $12.50. Now, don't get me wrong. If the price falls below that level, that doesn't mean the entire chart's epically destroyed or anything like that. But yeah, if the price could manage to stay above there, that would be a great sign of power. But from the bigger picture point of view, what you're going to want to watch from a support standpoint is that purple line, the 50-period moving average, keyword being moving. So as time goes by, that line is just going to move itself higher and higher. So it's essentially like a trend line that's going to draw itself for you. So in other words, as long as the price stays above the overarching trend line, quote unquote, then the overall trend remains fully in the bull's favor. In terms of areas of resistance, going to have to change to the 4-hour time frame here. So now this means each one of these candlesticks represents 4 hours, but we have to do this because it has been a long time since the price has been up this high. With the next key area, oh wow, it even broke through that level. So next key overarching level up there right around $13.30. So needless to say, very, very good week and a very good day to end the week. Next one, AGBA, did this one yesterday, so overall good movement today. Just going to get rid of those levels there as they serve their purpose, because now we have a couple of more overarching levels to keep an eye on. The main one here being this trend line that you got to think everybody and their brother's uncle is going to be watching, because that is nothing complicated, so I'm not trying to impress you by drawing that or trying to imply that that's some sort of secret discovery. A lot of people have noticed that and done that, and I say all that because when a lot of people are watching the same levels and wondering the same thing, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can produce some very dynamic movement. So while there are no guarantees, is it plausible? Is it realistic that if the price were to come up there and break up through there, that break in of itself could create additional buying pressure? That is certainly a plausible scenario. So keep an eye on that if you like to play breakouts. If you're more so into the pullbacks, then interesting pullback area right now at that $1.10 mark. So keep an eye on that, like I said, if you prefer more to say pullbacks. But all things considered, higher highs and higher lows, and that's the name of the game. So if you like this price range down below the $2 mark, certainly keep an eye on this one. Next one, EGOX, an interesting one in the sense of it's pretty ugly. I mean, when you stop and think about the opening 30 minutes, absolutely monster move. And then after that, kind of a slow and steady grind. But there can be opportunity in the ugly because it's not like this thing's totally collapsed. It's just pulled back kind of in a slow and steady and miserable way. But with that being said, as I put in this area of support here, you can see that the price is actually still maintaining above that level of support. And to illustrate this even clearer, let's say that the price goes down and bounces from that line. Well, that would imply that you have a low here, you have a low here, you have that low, you have that low. And if you envision those as stair-steps, from the big picture, what do you have? Well, you'd still have progress being made in the upwards direction. So assuming you care about the big picture, so if you're a day trader and you bought, right there and your plan was to buy and sell within 2 minutes, well then yes, from that standpoint, the chart's a train wreck. But assuming you care about the bigger picture, there is still an opportunity for an overall upwards trend, and that 0.045 area is going to be an interesting level of a potential pullback and bounce from that level. So if you like this price range, if you like to kind of play the ugly or the opportunity in the ugly situations, certainly watch this. Next one, MARA, very, very nice mover today as it's come up and broke through some key levels of resistance. And just give a little bit more context, you can see it had been beaten down very, very roughly, but it's now starting to put in some higher highs and higher lows. Yes, still a lot more work needs to be done, but every reversal's got to start somewhere. So moving forward, actually, let me zoom back out. Key dynamic here to watch moving into next week. First off is that level of resistance right there at 1685. Nothing fancy there in terms of logic other than just asking the question, where did the party finally stop today? and that was right up at that level. But even with the break of there, the level that you're going to want to also watch very, very closely is that pink line, the 200 period moving average. Again, moving average. So it is going to move downwards, and it'll get closer and closer to that red line next week. So just because you break above 1685, that is a good thing, but don't get overly excited because, again, you would still have to then deal with that 200 period moving average. But nonetheless, still some good action there. And from a support standpoint, the big dynamic that sticks out to me is it's been a long time since that purple line has actually had an upwards curl to it. I mean, if you go back to the history of things, you can see it's been just sloping down, down, down for multiple days, multiple weeks, but it's now finally actually started to curl back upwards. So moving forward, the longer the price can stay above that purple line, the better. Next one, TWG, and this is one that has really come to life today. You look down here at the volume, and fantastic volume, nice price movement. And now, at least from the naked eye, I think that's the resistance. Let's give it a test there. Close enough. So right there at 398. I was looking over here. I thought maybe was that going to be the high there. But nonetheless, there's actually a high right around here. So you have this area of resistance right here. And then that's where it was ejected from right there. So once again, talking about self-fulfilling prophecies, that could very realistically be one of those levels where if the price comes up here and breaks up through it, you're going to have people saying, hey, I'm a breakout trader. Oh, look, that's breaking out. Oh, I'm supposed to buy because I'm a breakout trader and that's breaking out. And then they buy just for those reasonings. Again, not saying that will for sure happen, but a plausible scenario. And then in terms of levels of support, if there is any sort of pullback, the main level that I'd keep an eye on right there around $2.65. But anyway, look at it. Nice movement today. Nice potential self-fulfilling prophecy area up there. So we'll see what next week has to offer. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online webinar that I'm offering next week. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then definitely get signed up for the free live class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box you can use, or if you're watching at my website, there's an area right there on the webpage you can use to get signed up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying, then definitely get signed up for the free webinar. Next one, AMD, and yeah, very, very brutal movement on this one. And what I want to get into play here is that trend line right there, because I think that could start to play a role. So let me actually change that to green since that is technically the support trend line. And then in terms of areas of resistance, we have that one right there. And this is what I would call a falling wedge pattern, which is actually a bullish pattern. Now, just because something's bullish does not mean the price is for sure going to go up, but I don't think it would shock anybody. So it's really as straightforward as that. AMD, very, very popular stock. So if you like technical patterns on popular stocks, specifically falling wedge patterns, then definitely keep an eye on this one. Next, ZCMD, and I like this one. One of these, I probably should have put it the other part of the watch list where I talked about that opportunity in the ugly circumstance, because that is another one where you had the gap up, price was all the way up here, and then it's just since pulled all the way back there. And what I like about this, so what makes it interesting, is the pullback has essentially stopped for now, at least. So it's not like it's kept going down and down and down where you have no, you have no indicator at all, like, okay, maybe this is finally done. No, not in that situation. But in this situation, we do. Nothing fancy, just based on the fact it's at least started to go sideways. No, just because it went sideways doesn't mean it's for sure going up. It's just more plausible compared to a price just continually dropping straight down. So on that note, that's going to be the key level of resistance in my mind. And if you want to try to play some sort of upwards breakout, then I think right there at about $1.98 is a very interesting level, because if it comes up through there, that would lead you to believe that this, sideways channel is essentially done consolidating, and maybe that would spark some more momentum. So once again, if you like these sorts of opportunity in the uglies, definitely keep an eye on this one. Next one, TSLA Tesla, and the bloodshed continues. Just when you think this thing's got to bounce at some point, it just goes even lower. So updates need to be done. Go ahead and get rid of that level. First key update comes based on a foundational rule in charting, which states when levels of support are broken and closed below, they tend to act as resistance. So if there is any sort of attempted bounce in the upwards direction, then public enemy number one will be right there at 148.70. And even if the price breaks above there, I wouldn't get too excited, because we have that purple line, the 50-period moving average, which will be moving downwards and getting more and more relevant. So keep an eye on that dynamic, even if, don't get me wrong, again, if 148.70 is broken, that is a good step in the right direction. I'm just saying, don't get overly excited about it. In terms of levels of support, really nothing fancy here other than just that rational question of, well, where did the bleeding finally stop today? And the bleeding finally stopped right down there at 146.20. So for that reason alone is what I would call that the first initial and key level of support headed into next week. But yeah, all things considered, the bears are definitely taking a big old bite out of Tesla. Next one, AMZN, Amazon, and another one of these very popular stocks that's getting absolutely beat down. And sometimes it's just a matter of finding a popular stock getting absolutely beat down. Let me grab the right. Getting absolutely beat down, and then just putting in a trend line. Because, I mean, look how steep that trend line is. That is a super steep trend line for a very, very popular stock. And as I speak right now, you can see last 30 minutes, nice little hammer candle forming, which leads to the question of, okay, is this an early leading indicator that some sort of bounce will occur, and specifically a bounce being, gauged via that trend line right there? Now, when I say bounce, I don't mean a full-blown reversal back upwards. I mean, yeah, a bounce could turn into reversal, but from a trading standpoint, let's just assume worst case. Let's assume it's a dead cat bounce. It bounces here and then just completely collapses. Well, from a trading standpoint, I mean, this is all sorts of wiggle room to pull some profit out of. So even if it is a dead cat bounce, it could still be very worthwhile. So if, like I said, if you like to play these highly beat down stocks on very popular stocks, keep an eye on Amazon. Next one, TQQQ. Absolute beat down continues. So much so that I'm just going to get rid of those lines up there because they're no longer relevant and we have to focus on more near-term levels. So in terms of levels of resistance, I think we're going to have to probably change to the 4-hour time frame too for the supports because it is down very low. But if there is any sort of initial bounce, right here at $50.88 will be that first key resistance. And you can see right there acted as a support. When it was broken, then it went right. So classic, analysis here. Supports tend to act as resistance, which it did there. And then once again right there. So any sort of bounce in the upwards direction, all eyes on 58.88 in terms of can the price break up through that level. And then in terms of, and I should note, like the other ones, even if the price does break above there, wouldn't get too excited because you have that 50-period moving average, which is going to be, moving in the downwards direction and kind of just, looming up above. In terms of areas of support, yeah, let's just go to the 4-hour time frame because we are having to go back way into the chart's history now. Wow. Okay, so again, change this to green for support. Does it bro down through that? No, it's even down. Okay. Well, next overarching level would be down there at 47.65. Does it really get all the way down there? I mean, look at this downwards momentum. Seems plausible, but I mean, this is such just a beat down move. You got to think there's at least a dead cat bounce coming early next week, but I guess time will tell. I'll get to Bitcoin here in just a second, but for you stock traders, like I said, if you enjoyed what you saw, then definitely go get signed up for that free webinar next week. It'll be Thursday, April 25th at 7 p.m. Eastern time, so I hope to see you there. Now let's talk some Bitcoin. For clarity's sake, we are now on the 4-hour time frame, so no more 30-minute. But I like to do this on the 4-hour because it is open 24/7, so that'll keep this analysis relevant for as long as possible. And I'm also going to operate under the premise that let's say you're watching this Sunday afternoon. So you're watching this multiple hours after I've done the analysis, so I want to just walk you through some questions. Now, the first thing was very, very impressive recovery. To think that the price was all the way down here and now it's all the way up here, that in and of itself is what I am basing everything around going into the weekend. Okay, let's figure out, is this bounce truly strong? Is it a dead cat bounce? And in order to answer that question, the first question you need to ask yourself, again, like I said, let's say you're watching this Sunday afternoon, where's the price at relative to 64,500? If you're saying that the price is up above it, okay, well, how far up above it? And the further up above it is, that would just tell you that, okay, yeah, this bounce is not only a legit bounce, but it has gotten even stronger. And the further up above, the stronger the bounce is. Preferably speaking, what would make the chart look even very strong would be, are you answering the question that the price is up above that level? Now, if you're not the end of the world, but I'm just saying that if somehow the price is up above there when you're watching it, yeah, that would imply that Bitcoin is having a good, solid weekend. Maybe you're saying, well, no, Clay, the price is actually down below 64,500. Next immediate question, okay, where's the question at, or where's the price at relative to 61,300? If you're answering that question that the price is down below there, not good, because that would imply that this bounce was a dead cat bounce. It has failed and is now down below that level. Now, how far down below it? Well, that'll tell you how bad and how nasty of a dead cat bounce it was. So if you're answering the price, or the question that the price all the way down here, that would imply that the price rolled over, broke through lows, and then kept going. So that would be telling you, yeah, Bitcoin is having an awful, awful weekend. So I would walk yourself through those questions, and based on how you answer those is going to give you a much better idea. And just like I did for the stock traders, for you Bitcoin and crypto traders, definitely get signed up for the free webinar, because what you learn about can and definitely should be used in the world of Bitcoin and crypto. So like I said, it'll be next week, Thursday, April 25th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So go get signed up. If you enjoy these videos, hit that like button, leave a comment down below. Even if it's just saying hi or give me your watch list for next week, but any sort of interaction really helps with the algorithm, and I really do appreciate it. So go get signed up for that free webinar. Take care and enjoy your weekend.